dokie. So setup wise is where we're looking at mainly. Posture down the line was looking great. There were some good things there. Alignment was good. Ball position was great. For me, with the stance was a bit narrow. Okay. And obviously the main change of today, grip, and we talk about the short thumb grip, okay? Yeah. You've got a very sort of like long protruded thumb, only because you're gripping it across your palms. Yeah? If you grip it straight across your palms and your fingers around this way, your thumb and forefinger are miles away. If you grip it in the fingers at an angle, and now you do this, that's kind of how your finger's going to hold the club this way, okay? So we've got to try and get that same position, as you can see on the right-hand side, where your thumb and index finger are kind of more matched up, like so, yeah? It's like a trigger of a gun this way. You were kind of like that, with a big old long thumb. Now with that left hand being on the weaker side, okay, on the top here, and this thumb now being off the side, your right hand being the dominant hand you have, would often hook the golf club, okay, and tend to be sort of flat hook shot. So then you created a movement to stop that. Yeah. That movement's not going to disappear overnight. That's why your shots now are generally going a little bit more to the right. Yeah. Got to be careful though with the left hand grip though, that we don't get it too much to the left. It needs to be sort of roughly, we should be able to see these sort of two knuckles here on that left hand, and the logo on your glove, ping glove, you should at least see most, if not all, that writing on the glove there, okay? So getting that grip there better is going to give you over time more control of the golf club. Then as a result in the swing, the left hand one here now we look at, you had quite a leggy action there because you couldn't turn as easily, partly because you were just gripping it so tight. The thumbs where they were, you pinched your arms in a little bit, you were quite tight across your sort of upper body there. Your rotation was limited, so you got to about here and thought, well, I can't keep going, all right, my legs will kind of now take over, and it got you to make a big rotation, but you were losing a lot of stability there. As we said, from a health perspective, your ankle doing that's not really going to sit well with you. Yeah, now when you're fairly young, but if you keep playing for another few years and stuff, by the time you get sort of 40, 50, 60, your ankle's going to be like, it's going to hurt in it. Plus on a downhill or an uphill lie, your balance is going to be all over the place, So you've got to try and make sure we're swinging a bit more kind of around us, okay, rather than sliding side to side. So with that better grip, and then the right side now, as a rotating around you, you'll see here now, there's your sort of practice swings. And again, practice swing was generally going to be a better position. You'll see at the top here now. If we compare these two there, that was the practice swing I showed you. There you go. So that position there, to me, I mean, like chalk and cheese in it, okay? I mean, this is now nice and stable. The knees come in, which it will do. You've turned behind the golf ball. You've got a 90-degree, just over shoulder turn, which is perfect. Hands are nicely above your head, keeping the width in the arms there, okay? It will then come back to the goal. Now with your practice, you can see there's not really much movement through, and you kind of stop your body from twisting, and the feet stay very flat. Probably because you've got to try and react to your legs being very active on the way back, and then, okay, I've got to try and find my grounding, and then you don't move your legs that much, okay? If we can, make your practice swings the same on the way back and twist through so you finish the swing. You still see the club sort of go, and it recalls back round, okay? That, to me, is sort of a sign that you've been sort of trying to block the club off, which is kind of that anti-hook mode we talked about, and sort of going like that. Make your practice swing a full twist and turn, head up, face target, club over your shoulder. The full movement wants to be done. Effectively, you're trying to rehearse the golf swing, What we don't want to be doing is sort of rehearse the backswing, rehearse down to there and sort of just stop now. Okay, the arm just sort of fling over your shoulder, and then that'll be done, okay? So try to make sure the backswing and the through swing are kind of completed, okay? But then in terms of swing there now, again, even there now, it's not quite as good as the practice swing, but it's, again, still far better than that left-hand one, okay? Good strike here now. As you twist, so because of that practice swing, the feet haven't quite kind of moved as much as we'd want to. But for me, one thing at a time, you've got to think about that hip and the lower half movement on the way back. What happens on the way through now isn't going to have such a negative outcome on the shots, Might go a bit high, might go a bit right, you might lose a bit of sort of distance, but ultimately you're going to get a much more consistent strike. And certainly much more balance in terms of the swing by that right hip moving this way now and turning around you rather than your legs sliding so much as they were before, okay? So we're getting a better rotation. The grip now, I think, you said you should looser and easier to swing, which is something we want to try and create that sort of freedom of the swing, so your arms can kind of effectively swish the club as fast as they can. We want club head speed. We want the ball to go as far as you can. I mean, if you can hit 6 irons, let's say 7 iron, 8 iron, was it? 7 iron. 150, 155, that kind of thing. It's a good distance, okay? And that's going to be a nice number to play towards, because you have a nice gap in between clubs of 8, 9 and 7 and 6 by 4. Obviously that's going to relate then to your driver. And this move is the same for every club, okay? We'll try a couple of drives just to finish off and see how you go there, okay? It's the same move for every club in the golf bag, okay? Grip's going to be the same. Lower half movement's going to be the same, okay? And obviously in the through swing at the moment now, we're just kind of going with what you feel comfortable, okay? So practice that grip, I would do at home if you can do. Just get used to having a club in your hand I say daily. If you put the club in your hand as much as you can, get there. Just start making some swings back here, and just sort of do some small little swings like this, just sort of get the feel of that club interacting with the grip and the handle of the golf club there. Just so over the time that'll become more natural. Yeah. I think make sure your stance gets a little bit wide. I think when you sort of went there, that was kind of your width of stance there for the full shot. Then you kind of stepped in and got a little bit narrower, and then we mentioned it, and you went and got a bit wider with those fitted. Okay, so if you get a bit wider with those fitted, it gives you some base to swing from. But yeah, the right hip turning out the way much more effectively. Now we can bring that golf club back to golf ball. Second through, so going to be something we can work on later on down the line. Okay. Does that kind of make sense then? Yeah.
Very good. So,
Any questions regarding that at all, or
definitely
sort of
not.
Good.